Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Hello. Make sure you check out our website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. Go find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Hive.
That is all correct information.
All right. Well, there you go.
We are here. We're back to normal. New year, new us.
Is it New Year, New Us?
No. It's a new year. Same old farts.
Still eating snacks on the show. That
That's
hasn't
right.
changed.
But it's an apple this time.
It is an apple with some peanut butter. And the dog thinks I was giving her peanut butter because the peanut butter's technically hers.
So you're stealing from the dogs.
I'm
now.
stealing peanut butter from the dogs.
All right.
All right. We have a wide variety of things to talk about today,
Yes,
as always.
But before we do that, I do want to let you know that I posted earlier today. We have started a new playlist on our YouTube channel called Hollywood Matrimony Shorts. We populated it already with the stuff from our show last week. It's basically what it's going to be for those of you that are not interested in watching our long form show that goes on for whatever. We will be breaking them down to where, for instance, if we talk about Violent Night, we'll take our actual review discussion of Violent Night, make it a separate video that you can just watch that review and don't have to bounce through the other one. So instead you watch a 2 or 3 minute video as opposed to the hour and a half regular show.
I don't know why you
eventually we'll probably pop chapters into these videos so you know exactly which movie you can jump to and skip around as you need. So far we've done just the stuff for our top movies of last year with the top 10 as well as the individual categories, like 5 or 6 videos. So we'll be moving forward with that as we have time.
All right. Well, there you go.
So what do we talk about first, sister?
Let's see. Hold on. I was going to send a message.
That does not look like part of our show.
I'm telling people come watch the
they
show.
Don't care. It's fine.
They showed up last time, or someone did.
If they don't want to support us, that's fine.
I
apologize. I'm still getting over all this cough crap I have.
All right. Are you ready to talk about this? We're just going to start there. Let's start here.
All right. So I've been really excited for this movie. If you don't know anything about New York Ninja, you're about to find out. So I've been wanting to buy this movie for quite some time, and I just never got around to it. And they had at one point it was like the limited edition copy for $30 or something or whatever. This was a long time ago when it finally came out.
This is amazing.
But my lovely wife, I mentioned it to her one time, I think.
Yeah.
And she went online and she got it for me for Christmas.
It's got a lot of stuff in this pack.
I'm super excited. She got me this. I think it's 4K.
Yep. This is the special edition.
Yeah, maybe it's just Blu-ray though, but it's still special edition. It's got a booklet with it. Look at this separate movie here, and then it opens again. No, it's just Blu-ray. It's Blu-ray special features. So you have the movie and this and whatever. So you may think, hey, just another ninja movie. Let me explain. So this movie was made, I don't know, in the 80s some point, years ago. And then it just disappeared. It was never released to anybody's knowledge. And in the midst of, I believe it's Vinegar Syndrome who put this out. I believe they're the ones that got it. But anyway, they bought a whole bunch of movies from like a studio or something. And then they get copies of stuff, then they re-release them or Blu-ray release these package releases, stuff that's obscure or whatever. But they came across these reels that just said New York Ninja on them. But they had no context other than the lead star and the director. I think it had some of the cast stuff in it. Had no sound. They completely lost the audio. There was no script, so they had no idea what the story was. So they basically took it and they just painstakingly recreated the movie from the footage they had to build their own movie out of it. And then they went back and they got other people to do the voices. So you have Don the Dragon Wilson. You have Cynthia Rothrock. They all came in. Lena Quigley. I think Amber Lynn, the porn star, I believe is one of them.
Yeah. Ginger Lynn.
Ginger Lynn, thank you. Lena Quigley is from, I believe, Farscape. I think that's what she was known for mostly. Excuse me. Anyway, so they all came in and did the voices over. So they finally released the movie.
Yeah.
I've been eagerly waiting to see it. So we sat down to watch it. You knew nothing about
I
this.
don't know anything about this.
You just knew you paid way too much for this movie to make your husband happy for Christmas.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you wanted to see it. So it is kind of it's an action film. It's an independent film. It's an old school exploitation film. It's a ridiculous film. It's part supernatural, part superheroes. Pretty much anything you can imagine was shoved into this one movie.
Correct.
So I just want to know your thoughts on New York Ninja.
It's very 80s since it was
Very
shot in
much
the
so,
80s.
very much so.
You got that 80s look and the clothes and the big hair. And it's a little cheese,
It's a lot cheese.
but it's fun. It's just a fun movie.
It is ridiculous.
It's not the best movie, and they didn't spend the time to get the best ninja outfit. You know, it's not like a traditional ninja outfit. It looks a little baggy on the guy and a little.
Well, I think it's because that guy.
He made it out of sackcloth.
pretty
Or
small.
something.
Now, I want you.
He made his own ninja outfit at home.
I do want you to know. Let me pull the guy's name up because
He's a real dude.
and he did a lot.
The main guy,
Yeah,
the real guy that did the work in the movie, not the voices.
Yeah, let me pull the real guys.
He
He directed it and starred in it. John Liu. He's no slouch when it comes to martial arts, and he's good in the movie. You could tell
he's
he has
Taiwanese.
Yeah, you could tell he has skill.
Yeah, for sure.
But
It's
he was actually in a lot of the old Shaw Brothers movies. I'm kind of pulling up. Sorry,
I'm over here trying not to
through
kick the dog.
the 70s and the 80s, and this was, I guess, his foray into making his own stuff. Because he's in the Dragon, the hero made in China, Dragon Blood. Like, he's not just some random guy that made this.
Right.
He did a lot of old school martial arts flicks.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fine movie. There's some times where since they had to recreate the sound, the voice track, you can tell sometimes it's a little bit off, but they did go through the effort to try to write they didn't even write a script.
Yeah,
they gave them the film and they're like, here, try to match the words that they're saying.
Yeah, I think they tried to
and build a story around
it. Wasn't as important to match the words because they treated it like a
treated
dubbed movie.
Yeah, no, they did a little bit though.
But they did it well enough to where some of the words they're using look like these could have been some of the words they were saying.
Like what they were saying.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's got some great action, but it's not like it's just like independent film action. I mean, there's a ninja on roller skates, for Christ's sake, which is awesome. And it's just one of these things that I would like to tell you to go watch it, but you can't really find it unless you have a copy of it. If you go to Vinegar Syndrome, I think it is who it is.
Yeah.
They sell them. If they even have them in stock, they might have a standard edition. I don't know if
they have the regular movie.
Okay, you did go to their website to look.
I did go there and find it. But they didn't have. Yeah, they didn't have the special edition that comes with all this stuff. I had to find that somewhere else.
Here's your picture of what he looks like in his uniform. Oh wait, no, it's right here. It's a good uniform. He's just a small guy.
Yeah, limited edition box set is sold out. It always is sold out.
What was its retail?
$50-something.
So you didn't pay too much.
I didn't pay too much. The standard edition is available and it's on sale right now for $27. If you want just the movie, it's just that movie.
Yeah, just a Blu-ray.
Yeah. So
this one comes with a book that's kind of
fun.
The story of
and the behind the scenes was fun to watch about the people trying to do the voiceover with no script and no words. They're just like, hey,
the book kind of tells the story of it. They actually tried to find John Liu, but they found I think the last person they found that knows him was told that he wants nothing to do with this film, probably to stay away from him about it. So they kind of ended their look. But I hope he sees it. Somebody else mentioned
it's not bad.
They hope he sees it. At least all his work was done.
Yeah, he's fine in it.
But here's what's something else cool. Before I ever got this, I have a love for martial arts and especially ninja. Anything with a ninja, I want to see it. But this was more because I'm also a Cynthia Rothrock Don Dragon Wilson fan. This was more of like one of those golden egg type things, like you want to get it because it's so weird and rare and
it is rare.
But I wasn't sure if I was ever going to get a copy of it. But through my local comic book store, I ordered this myself before I ever got this, which was the New York Ninja. It's a comic book. This is the official. It's from Vinegar Syndrome.
Are they selling?
They did a fake. So I think you can actually buy some of this stuff through
That's so funny.
Vinegar Syndrome. I may have to order me a
Order a
shirt.
T-shirt.
Um,
I was like, are they selling throwing stars?
go back on there and look.
I guess so.
Although it says this is a fake company hashtag.
Mm.
Vinegar Syndrome exists, so if they have a shirt or whatever, I need a shirt.
Oh my
Anyway, so they put this comic out through Vinegar Syndrome, which this is the all new official comic sequel.
Oh, so the
this
movie?
is the continuation.
Oh, I have to read it.
So, and I'll show you this real quick. It won't make sense to people at home, but I'll show you. See, like, look, where Rat Tail's left for dead at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
He comes back, and he's like the bad guy now because the rat goes in him.
Ew.
So anyway, I had already read this
Gross.
before I saw the movie. This makes so much more sense now. So, thankfully, if you can find them both, I highly recommend. If you like weird grindhouse type cinema, independent film, just weird, goofy, silly stuff, this is the thing for you. I greatly appreciate my wife tracking this down for me. I love it, love it, love it. This will be a rotation film that we will probably show people.
Yeah,
movies like this, Firecracker, Bat Pussy,
oh Lord,
things like that are just kind of weird.
They are weird.
Firecracker's not as weird as those two.
Here's a New York Ninja T-shirt.
Oh yes, I must have one.
All right, we're moving on. Thank you so much, New York Ninja.
It's available now through Vinegar Syndrome.
All right, next. Oh Lord, let's talk about this.
Okay, so you're going to be shocked with some information I'm going to give you about this movie. So there's all these movies that come straight to video that you always question how they got big stars in them. And some of them are stars that seem regulators.
Not regulated.
What's the word? Anyway,
relegated.
Yes, is that the right word?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, they seem shoved into the straight to video market.
Correct. That is
after their stars not as bright or whatever. Nicolas Cage was one of them for a long time. Bruce Willis has been doing it for years now. He'll have a big screen major thing and have like 35 little things. But we also know that it was announced that Bruce Willis has a brain situation, that he's kind of retiring from acting. But ever since they made that, he seems to have 35 new films still coming out. The last thing I read, this was supposedly his last movie, but he still got 2 other movies coming out from a trilogy he's shooting. Wow. But it's a movie called Paradise City, and it has him teamed up with John Travolta. Now, John Travolta's another one, very much kind of hit and miss with all that stuff. Here's what's crazy. The director of this movie is Chuck Russell, who also directed The Scorpion King, Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Mask, and Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors.
With a dream.
So he's got a good eclectic.
You know I was going to say.
Yes, that. I know. Group of movies that makes you want to say, okay, he's a competent
be a
director.
Good movie.
And then you also know when you watch these kind of movies, there's a high chance that the star power they're building the movie around is only going to be in the movie for like 3 seconds.
That's what I assume.
So you never know what you're going to get. So I will say this first. Both Travolta and Willis are in this movie for the most part throughout. They're not the stars of the movie, but they are major players. We'll say that.
Yes,
right?
They're there.
The movie is really carried by, what is his name?
Stephen.
Blake Jenner, Priya Lundberg, and to a lesser extent, Stephen Dorff. Who seems to be carrying the movie, so I had higher expectations. Yeah. Like, oh, good, Stephen Dorff's here. He's going to save it. Yeah. And he disappears for a while. So that being said, the movie is about some bounty hunters and criminals. It's a generic action idea. And what did you think of this movie?
Wow, it was a movie. I'm going to tell you that.
It was, in fact, a movie.
You know what? It's not a great movie. Let's just say that. All. I will appreciate that they did try to hire local actors because it's shot in Hawaii. So they did try to incorporate some local.
I like that you think they tried to. This was some decision they made based on trying to inclusion when they probably didn't have money to hire.
I'm trying to give them.
They didn't have any money other to hire who was next door.
That the kid from Glee, Stephen Dorff, and the pretty lady, which I'm sorry, I'm just calling her that. She basically they put her in an evening gown. She kicks off her shoes and kicks a guy. I'm like,
my favorite is when he's like,
Lord,
he's like
that's why
she's there. Can you take me to the crime scene of where my dad was killed? And they're like, okay, well, she's a detective. And he's like, okay, we'll go tomorrow. The next shot is him in a boat, like a speedboat, driving to this island. But now she's in a full-on bikini. He's just in shorts. And you're like, okay, yeah, but they're on a boat. But this is a police officer taking a guy to a crime scene. And she gets out, and now she's building like a a metal detector out of a beach balloon or something.
That's what
She's
I'm
in a full
telling you.
bikini, and I'm
They
like,
they relegated her to the role of the pretty girl,
yeah,
which that's why it's too bad because she did some decent kicking and stuff.
she
It
was
was
fine.
okay.
I mean, none of the acting in the movie is great.
Bruce Willis, I
Uh,
feel like you were thinking that maybe he shot some of his stuff
I think he
alone,
seems a lot of his. It seems like most of his movies now.
like one camera angle here and then
Yeah, it's
everyone else
him,
here.
and then they bring in doubles. Like there's one moment in a shootout that if you watch, that is not him.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think there's a moment both he and Travolta. There's scenes with them running and shooting and stuff, and I'm
neither
like,
one of, it wasn't either one of
I
them.
don't think it's either one of them. That's fine. John Travolta's fine. He's better
He
right
seems
now
to be
than
at
Bruce
least
Willis.
trying to
He's
do
trying.
something.
He's fine. You know what? I think he's a nice man. Whatever.
I think
Scientology
he's
got
a
him.
good villain.
Scientology got his back, so it don't
I
matter.
think he's I think he's a good villain when he's allowed to kind of go nutty.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem with him here is he seemed to be trying to do what he could with the material he had.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't seem to be phoning it in like a paycheck. It seemed like
No.
he thought, hey, this is going to be a fun role, but he didn't chew it up as much as I think he probably should have. He was trying to play it cool, and it falls flat like the rest of the movie.
That's fine.
It's a very generic movie that's not very good. It's forgettable. It has decent action, but nothing that you've never seen a billion times before. And poor Bruce Willis. I hate saying poor Bruce Willis because I give the guy props. He was still trying to do something, but he's just not Bruce Willis that we all know and love from back in the day. And you can see that he's trying to do his thing, but his thing ain't there anymore. So I'm hoping, um, as a fan, I'm hoping this trilogy, the Detective Knight trilogy, and this maybe these will be wrapping it up, and then he can kind
Can
of. I
just
don't want
go
his legacy getting
enjoy his
tarnished.
life.
Well, and I don't want his legacy
I
tarnished
agree.
with all we remember of these things, and not remember the Moonlightings and the diehards and the fun,
He's
thicker
diehard.
stuff that he did.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah,
You know what? It's okay.
it's not a good movie at all. It's definitely a movie that I would say just it will not take you to Paradise City.
Take me
take you to
down
Grumpy
to the
City.
Paradise City.
So
Well,
for those who think we like everything, we don't like this one.
it was okay. Check it out. Check out the review on our website, HollywoodMatrimony.com.
Although the best scene of the movie is a secret meeting with a bunch of strippers that happen to be some kind of underground spy network.
Yes,
And the one lady's like, she's ex-CIA, and she goes, "Oh, hold on, you missed it. You looked away." And she does a karate kick for no apparent reason. I was like, yeah.
And then there's one girl in the background, which this is her only scene. You don't see her poor head.
Oh, she's putting her leg.
So she's putting her leg all. Hold on, let me be like.
She's putting it right next to the lead guy.
She keeps trying to move his leg closer, like
next
this,
to him while he's
to
in the
make
chair.
sure she can be like, "Hey, mom, that's my leg. See me? That's my leg, guys." Lord, poor thing.
It is not a good movie. Not at all.
Oh well, you know what?
I can't even recommend it as a guilty pleasure one because it's so generic and it's so phoned in by most of the people there. Even if they're trying.
I think the kid from Glee was really trying. I think Steven Dorff.
Yeah, I shouldn't say phoned in. I think the people were trying what they could.
Yes.
And I think maybe the director.
I feel like this would have been a good TV movie.
Well, it felt like a TV movie. I think I wrote my review. It felt like a Lifetime movie. Lifetime tried to make an action movie, and this is what happened.
I feel bad.
I've listened to a few interviews with different celebrities, and it's interesting to hear, because you always ask, well, why would you take this part?
Yeah.
You're John Travolta. You're Bruce Willis. Why are you in this movie? And
the force knocked this down.
I've watched a couple interviews of people discussing the same thing, and a lot of them are talking about how the scripts they read and the finished product don't always end up being the same thing. Like one of my favorite interviews is Charlize Theron when she's talking about Eon Flux.
Oh, because I'm the only person
the movie
that
is not
it.
Good. Again, I'm a fan of the original.
Well, compared to the original
material,
thing,
it is not the movie that it should have been. As she said, she knew halfway through making that movie, this is not the movie I set out to make. So she said, I knew this movie was going to be bad, but now you're there.
But you're in it, and you got to make the best of it.
Do your job.
You got to make the best of it.
And then I have other people like Eric Roberts who I interviewed. He's like, if I see something interesting to a character, I will take the job.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care about the finished film. He's like, I'm going to do my job. I want to put out a good film. I want to put out a good thing. He goes, but my goal is not to say, is this going to be a good movie all the time? It's, do I find something interesting as an actor to do with this character? He goes, I'll be in a movie that has no budget, or I'll be in a movie that's billions of dollar budget.
Yeah.
If I find the character interesting, he goes, there's a lot of movies that he did that he said he's never seen.
Yeah.
And he didn't care because he had a great time playing this weird.
Well, remember there was also that interview with Nicolas Cage where he's like, this is my job. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
what I
yeah.
do for a living to pay my bills and my family, take care of my family.
Yeah.
He's like, if I find an interesting character, I'm going to do it. And he does. And you notice he jumps straight into every single character he does.
Well, and I thought it was interesting when he did that Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. He was talking about how he knows there's so many films that he made that are not good movies. But he goes, one of the things that hurt him most weren't bad reviews. It was people thinking he phoned it in. And he's like, and he always went in with the intention to give his best performance.
Always.
But it is what it is. This movie sucks.
Oh, so I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's not that
I'll
great.
say it sucks. It's not a good movie. But if you want to try it, somebody will like it.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's the world of movies.
Thank you, Paradise.
There's always somebody be like, "What? I enjoyed it."
It's okay.
But it's available now on Blu-ray and DVD. I don't know why they put it on Blu-ray, but okay.
All right. We're now going to talk about the Amazon original movie, Wildcat. It is a documentary film. This was kind of sad to me. This one really just... I'm watching it and I got excitable about the cat, which we decided was an ocelot. Is that correct?
I think so.
And then things happen, and then I got sad, and then it got happy again, and then the guy's real life story got me. I was just all over. There's so much emotion.
It's not the movie I thought we were going to watch. Like, I knew it was about a soldier dealing with some PTSD and stuff, and finding his way in dealing with these animals. But this is not the story I thought we were going to go with. I thought it was going to be about, and there's some elements that is this, but
more about him.
I thought it was just going to be about him finding his passion and helping him heal and all this stuff. And that's there, but I didn't expect the heavy darkness that came along with the story that they were showing us. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. If that makes sense. I know when you heal, there's that heavy darkness, but it went in some heavy places.
It went there. So by the way, trigger warnings, PTSD, suicide, cutting, self-mutilation, self-harm.
It's not graphic.
It's not, but just know it's there.
These things are touched on.
I agree. This was just such a sad story for him. I mean, I don't want to give anything away of what happens, but nothing happens, but I don't know how to say nothing happens.
No, it's just
stuff happens, but it doesn't end on a depressing note necessarily.
But it's not necessarily happy.
But it's not happy, but things continue, progress on. Okay, so this is a British soldier who's come back from Afghanistan, which I do like that we're getting a different country's thing, whatever, PTSD. I mean, we're getting a different version of it, but he comes back and he's just completely like out of it, doesn't know what to do, trying to figure out what to do with his life. And he finds this animal rescue thing, or he tries to go off into the Amazon to be alone and stumbles upon this animal rescue. And he's working with ocelots and things happen and it seems to be good for him. But if something goes bad with the animal, then he feels responsible. And
and also there's an isolation aspect to it where has no communication with his families or anybody else. And at some points he's just alone in those woods. And then when he's not around he plunges his bond with this ocelot. And when the ocelot's not around him, he's breaking because he's like, I have no purpose now, or I don't know what's going to happen, or it's heartbreaking, but it's also, there's an element of inspiration of seeing someone who is trying to find their way. Yeah. And they're fighting to get there, but they're not winning. Yeah. Most of the time.
Yeah. And so it says actually he went to the Amazon to try to end his life, but then he met the conservation people. Yeah, it's sad and I don't know. I mean, I don't want to go into the horrors and devastation of what war causes because I don't want to be all political, but I mean, it does. And this poor kid, his life is just all messed up. And he does at some point, through the thing, we see that he is self-aware. He understands he's depressed. He understands he has PTSD. He has some things with loud noises or gunshots and all this. I mean, it triggers him. But he's self-aware to know, like, I do want to kill myself, but I don't because I don't want to see what would happen to my brother. So, I mean, that's got to be difficult. Well, I think like, you're like this the whole time. It's so sad.
I think the darkness of this film that does have some shines of light that come through the pain and the suffering and the hope of where his life goes. And I think it's important because it's told in a way that's interesting because you're learning about these animal rescues and how they're incorporating them back into the wild and all these things. But you're also learning about the attachments. You're learning about dealing with these things and how finding something that helps you find you can help you on some level, but also are the people you have. And it wasn't like Hollywood up. Like there's a whole relationship thing
Yeah, well, and
that
that's
deals
the other
with
thing. There's a whole other person
that
there.
isn't a Hollywood happy ending that I like that it didn't
Yeah.
just be like, oh, of course everything works out all the time, you know.
Well, I like to. So we have another one of the ladies that started this conservation thing specifically here. She also has a traumatic past where her father was alcoholic and abusive and all this. So she came also with this whole other set of trauma. So you have two very
Well, she was already
broken people,
there, yeah, doing her
trying to have
thing.
a relationship, which is difficult.
But I think hers was
And
weird, because interesting because it was her father was abusive, but not abusive. You know, he was an alcoholic and whatever,
he
and
was
he was a great
abusive,
father. He played with him. He took care of him.
but she knew when he wasn't drunk, he was perfect. He was awesome. She
But
was the
then there's the other
best.
side, and then it was dealing with her reattaching herself with somebody that had similar issues.
Mm-hmm.
And is it, you know, because she surely cared about this guy, but is it just that pattern of connecting with that thing and then having become aware of like, I can't be around this?
Yeah.
Or is there something there that's worth fighting for to stay
Yeah.
together?
It's
It's a lot of layers
there's
to
a
this
lot
movie
to
that
this,
that you
and
may not have thought. And like I said, it's not a
we
graphic.
thought I thought I was watching like Animal Planet.
Well, no, I knew it was
I
about
know
a
it was going to
soldier
be a little bit
PTSD
more,
stuff, but
I didn't think
yeah,
it
I
was
didn't think
going
we
to
were
be
going to that
this
heavy.
dark and dramatic and heavy, like you
It
said.
isn't graphic anyway.
No.
There's no like suicides.
You don't
There's
see
no
anything.
they
They
touch
talk
on the
about
stuff
it.
and there's issues and like there is a cutting scenario, but it's not something you're seeing. You're
You
just
don't see a
hearing
bunch of blood or anything.
audio and that kind of stuff. So if you're triggered by this sort of thing, I would caution watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it may be something that helps you see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Because it's not just, it's sad and it's uplifting at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then on the flip side, it's very intriguing watching these animals and how they're
and how they're
teaching them and
trying to
working with
teach
them.
them to be predatory again and be able to live in the wild because they're trying to reintroduce them into the wild. So they pick up all
Yeah, like
sorts
you
of
got all
animals.
irritated because like the ocelot's killing a mouse or
Which
something.
I know this, but
You're
he's
like,
trying to teach it to kill.
yeah,
to
he's like,
survive.
kill it, and you're like, no, don't kill him. He's like, no, he's trying to teach him how he's going to live out in the woods.
I know, it was just like, oh, poor.
But it's not abusive
mouse.
or anything either. I mean, this is like an actual conservative thing.
Yeah.
Of how they take care of them. So
anyways,
it's a
really good documentary, and I'm, I guess in a way, thankful that people will allow us to. What?
I didn't realize they were raised letters.
Yeah, to allow us to see their lives and them suffering through this to perhaps help other people. Yeah. So I'll give them that. It's available on Amazon now.
Cool. All right, moving on.
Oh.
All right. So we are heading into the world of Bollywood. We've seen other Bollywood films before, and you've actually gone to the theater.
I love Indian cinema, by the way.
I don't mind them. I don't mind foreign films. I don't understand why Bollywood always has to have a song and dance number.
That's what I love about it, because you're like.
But it baffles me because they're always in movies that don't fit that, and they somehow make them work into that.
It works.
There was even a Jackie Chan movie I watched one time, and now I forgot the name of it. But that the movie's in Bollywood, India.
In India.
And there's an entire song and dance number with Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan did it, right? I remember. What movie was that?
Lord.
Let's go find out.
I own it. I'll pull up and tell you what it is. Anyway, so the movie is called RRR. What is it? Rise, Roar, something?
Yes. Hold on.
I got on my glasses on. Revolt.
Yes.
Rise, Roar, Revolt. But it's also the initials of the director and both the actors.
Isn't that crazy?
So it was kind of put together. So it's one of these epic, I think it was like a little over 3 hours. It's a period piece. It's an action movie. It's a war drama. It's a love story. It's a story of friendship and family. It's pretty much every genre shoved into a 3 hour
Well, because it's
Bollywood
3 hours.
Bollywood epic.
And it is based on 2 real life characters of that time period, but this is a fictionalized story of them working together.
Yeah, it's like, what if these two people had ever met?
Yes.
They didn't ever actually meet in real life.
Yes. Man, I'm just going to tell you, this is the most awesome movie ever.
The movie's awesome.
It is really good.
We decided to watch it on New Year's Day with some friends, one of them being Indian.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're supporting our culture.
Yes.
And what's funny is everybody had to leave before it was over.
We had to stop at the 1.5 hour mark, which, if you're watching it, it's on Netflix, right? Netflix?
Yes, Netflix has it.
At the 1.5 hour mark, you'll see the screen go black. That's your intermission. So take a
So
little
everybody
break.
went home and refinished it themselves.
We finished it all at home. So it was so fun.
It's excellent. It's pretty heavy at times. There is over the top crazy action. Yes. The CGI is really good for the most part. There are a couple of moments they get really good. There's this awesome sequence that's obviously heavy CGI of them unleashing all these animals in the middle of a battle. That's just a fun shot.
It's so cool. My favorite, there's this one thing where they have to rescue this boy who's in the middle of a ring of fire. And he goes through with the flag and wets a flag and then gives it to the guy, and the guy wraps himself in the flag so the flames can pass over him. And I'm just like, this is the best movie ever.
It is. There's so many moments that you just have to buy into.
Just go with it, man.
But there's history here. It's beautiful to look at too. It's
amazing,
visually stunning.
It's pretty.
There are song and dance numbers here as well.
There's men with their shirts off.
There's one moment. There's a song in the most inappropriate place, but it still kind of actually makes sense for the moment. And it's the middle of somebody being tortured. The guy breaks in a song.
Yeah.
But it's this emotional song about uprising and fighting for what you believe in, and so it's almost like if they were playing the song over the scene. But in this case, the guy is singing the song, and the crowd is being riled up to rise, roar, and revolt.
Yeah. Yes. I don't think we could even explain to you everything in this movie. Car chases,
betrayal,
animal fightings, swinging through the jungle, fighting a tiger,
punching tigers in the face.
Yeah.
Throwing motorcycles at people.
There's a love story, family. Yeah, I'm just this is the greatest movie ever made.
It's not. We're not joking.
This is immediately going on my top 10 right now.
You can't. It was last year's movie.
Oh shoot!
You missed it. You should have had it on there.
Okay, this was on my top 10 for last year.
You can put it on that. We can discuss it though, because you can put it as like an honorable mention.
Honorable mention.
We didn't watch it until the new year.
We didn't. We've been.
It was in fact.
We've been trying to watch it.
It was in fact the very first movie we watched in the new year.
First movie of the year. So thank you, RRR. And we found out. Our friend told us. There's some other movies from the same director. We're all in.
Bahulabi or
Bahulabi.
They're both on Netflix as well.
Part 1 and 2.
One the beginning and something. It's the second one.
Yeah.
From the same director, and this one is like been a massive hit. RRR has been a massive hit in the U.S.
Thank you, everyone. Run. Yes.
And apparently they were never intended to do a sequel. Now there's been discussions of the sequel because it was so popular in America.
Oh, good.
So now they're talking about actually, because I think some of the actors and stuff have said they would love to be able to keep playing in this universe.
Good. I'm glad. I don't know what happens when you started. Yeah, I wasn't there when you started the movie. Like it just played in English.
Yeah.
I prefer to hear it.
Well, I think they have it in Hindi and stuff.
Hindi.
I don't know why it was. I didn't go back and change it because we were already watching it.
I know, and I don't want to. I don't know how other people. I prefer to hear the language and just read the subtitles.
I don't know if I want to hear that language for 3 hours, so I might well be able to do that.
It's okay. I did it.
Not because I don't want to hear the language, but because I get exhausted reading it.
That's true.
I already have to read it for the English anyway.
I know.
So
I'm telling you, I love the songs and dances. I love that about Indian cinema because. You know that it's expressive, and they're telling you the story through the song, and it connects to the story. To keep going.
I'll give them credit. At least in this one, there's only 2 numbers.
No, there's like 3 or 4. I feel like
there's the one with the plate. I mean, at the dance party. And then there's the one with the beating. What's the other one?
Oh, the dances. The lady and the guy dancing. Is that? Oh, that's that party.
That's the one at the party.
Okay, but there are singing. They're singing throughout.
No.
The guy singing in the jungle. The main guy sang.
I don't remember anybody singing in
the lady, the white lady sang, or the French lady.
I don't remember.
The big thing at the end. There was the dance in the middle.
I clearly blacked out.
Oh, there's tons of it. I love it.
Anyway.
Okay, doesn't matter.
It's excellent. And we're not
It's
saying this in like a facetious, so bad it's
Bahubali.
good. It's a
No,
great
it's
movie.
a good movie. It's legitimately the best movie ever.
It's not the best movie ever, but it is a great,
It's
great
legit.
movie.
Okay, it's a really good movie.
I highly
hope you
recommend
see
it. You just have to open your mind and have an awesome time.
It's just a great action adventure.
It is one that was rolling around as nominated for Best Foreign Film. So we'll see what happens.
It's Bahubali Part 1 and 2. We're going to be watching
So anyway, it's RRR is available now on Netflix. I highly recommend you check it out.
Please check it out.
If you can't sit through a 3-hour movie, you can watch it in sections.
An hour and a half. Takes a popcorn break. Another hour and a half.
What else we got?
Okay. Our next movie this evening is the movie Pray for the Devil. Ooh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
So
this is actually a unique take.
I will appreciate that.
I actually enjoyed this movie. I do have a couple of issues with it, but I like the fact that this is
let's read the synopsis.
Possession exorcism film.
Okay, that's why I said Lord have mercy, because anytime there's possessions and things like this, it kind of freaks me out because I believe that stuff is real.
But instead of just somebody being possessed and it's a family at home like we normally deal with, and the priests come, and the priests are all fighting it, and the church is trying to figure out what's going on, we're taken into the world of being trained to do exorcisms, to be part of that clergy, which adds, I think, a different element to the story. And on top of that, it's a female clergy person who's, I guess, the first and only female that's in this
supposedly
in this thing
in this
world
iteration.
So she's the first to become the first female exorcist.
So basically, I'm assuming this part is correct, that the Catholic Church has training centers for people to learn to become exorcists or perform exorcisms, and typically that's only for male priests. This is a nun, Sister Anne, who in her life believes that her mother was possessed by an evil spirit. So she works at one of these centers. Yeah, she talks about it during her therapy sessions.
I was having trouble hearing this movie.
With what's her name from that is not the lady that is not from X-Files, but the other lady, Virginia Madsen. Yes. She's a therapist, and so during the therapy session, she says that, and that's why it led her to this calling to become a nun.
I know all those issues with her mom,
and why she wanted to work at one of these training centers to help people who had been going through these issues. So, first of all, I think you have to believe these are true, that the training centers are real, that they're really doing this. I believe all that, so I was kind of all in on this movie. But then again, it's like I believe all this is real, so then that bothers me to a certain level emotionally. But I was in. I liked this movie.
I'm in on these movies because the haunting and possession subgenre of horror are my least favorites.
Ugh.
Only because most of the time they're just bad. They're just bad movies. There's fewer, like you can make a bad slasher movie.
Yeah, and it's still a blast. Fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Because of the blood and the kills and whatever. These haunting movies, sometimes they drag, or these possession movies, they drag on. They try to be clever.
I mean,
but you get stuff like into the extra classic. But you get into the Conjurings and the Insidious.
Yes.
And those kind of movies, they work. But for every Conjuring, there's 50 of these movies that come out. I enjoyed this movie. I actually liked the movie. I liked the direction. I thought it was interesting. I liked the new take on it. I figured out the twist pretty early on.
And I didn't until later. And I was like, "Oh."
With this movie was I don't think they went all in enough on the exorcisms, on the possession. It felt like they were holding back.
What was this rated?
It's probably PG-13. I don't know.
It's PG-13. No, yeah, that's why.
But it's not even that. It's like there's still stuff they could have done under PG-13 banner to really, because some of it was cool looking.
Yeah, like the part on the poster with the hair, that part was cool.
Yeah, there's some really cool moments, but they seem to go like right to the edge, and then like, no, maybe we shouldn't. And I think that's what made the film hurt the film for me, is it kept teasing me like it was going to go all in, and then not.
Yeah.
But it's not enough that made it a bad movie. I still enjoyed it.
I liked it. I mean, this is the genre that scares me the most, but I like it the most. I know that's weird, but
No, I get that.
and I liked all the people in it. It had a pretty good cast. I liked the main girl.
Yeah,
She
everybody
was
seems
good.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was kind of like it could have, yeah, it could have done a little more. But it's a good movie.
Ben
It's fine.
Cross is one of those guys that I just think he should be a Catholic cardinal and everything.
Does he do that a lot?
I don't know. I feel like that's all he plays. I know he doesn't, but every time I see him,
he's a priest. Every time you see him, he's a priest in something.
he just no. He's played so many things, but he just has that look to either be a vampire or a priest. Look at his face.
No, I know.
Just look at his
it's
face.
It's the very stark nose.
Just look at his face. Get all the movie
Oh, is
shit.
that vampire? That looks like a
Get away from
vampire.
that. Just find a picture of him, just his face. Forget the movie.
That's what I'm looking at, babe.
Okay, now hold on. Look at his face. Now tell me, this guy walks in a room, and I say, "What do you think this guy does for a living?"
He's a vampire.
Okay, not a vampire. So what is he doing for a living?
Oh yeah, he looks like a nice priest, pastor kind of guy.
You know, I guess technically he could also be some sort of like a weird multi-millionaire eccentric recruiter. Something I don't know. He's a great actor. He just has that look about him.
Mm-hmm. Who knows? Anyways, I enjoyed the movie. I think it was a lot of fun. I hope you like it too.
It's like I said, I enjoyed it for what it was. I like the direction. I think they should have gone a little further in to really give it that bump.
I would watch it again.
If you like these kind of movies, you might enjoy it. If you don't like these kind of movies, you're gonna hate it. So make your own decision.
Thank you.
It's available now on Blu-ray and DVD.
Okay. Let's talk about kind of a weird movie. So weird that our child had to call us and be like, "What is this movie about?" I'm like 20 minutes in and I don't get it.
I never did call her, ask her.
We told her to keep watching.
Yeah. So the movie is called White Noise. It's another Netflix movie, but it's directed by Noah Baumbach, who directed films like The Squid and the Whale, Greenberg, and Marriage Story, which is the one with Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson.
You
didn't like because it was too real.
It's
a sad movie.
It was too real, but not real enough that like these people should have been fighting more.
But he also wrote movies like Fantastic Mr. Fox, The Life Aquatic with Steve Suzu.
Like that.
So you get the idea of kind of the weirdness and quirkiness vibe that could be coming with his movies. This one stars Adam Driver once again, but also Greta Gerwig and Don Cheadle. I mean, there's more than that, but they're the main. Greta Gerwig plays Adam Driver's wife. Don Cheadle plays his colleague at a college. They're both professors. And it's essentially told in 3 chapters. Mm-hmm. It's not the movie I thought we were watching, because everything about this movie I understood was about some sort of a virus that spills into the air and that they're now trying to survive as a family.
Correct. That's what it tells you.
And that is here. But there's so much other stuff happening. So the first act of this movie is just the family and their life and the professor's teaching. And it offers up one of the most awesome monologues between Don Cheadle and Adam Driver.
Fascinating.
They're doing this dual college presentation of their 2 classes. I believe Don Cheadle deals with Elvis, correct?
Yes.
And Adam Driver deals with Hitler.
Correct.
And they're doing a parallel about how both of their impacts and fame and power were the same between fans and followers. And Adam Driver's goes way further in, but it's such an awesome scene. The whole movie's worth watching that scene alone.
When we had to like have a whole conversation. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's true. Because at some point, celebrity has the ability to radicalize its followers into doing something crazy. We've seen that with our president, with the attack on the White House. I wasn't going to go there, but I was just going to say with terrorists or whatever, you can easily turn your fans into followers, and it's a little bit weird. Anywho, but yeah, so it's dealing with his life as a college professor, and you kind of get the sense that his life is just kind of like ho-hum, mundane. His kids think he's boring, and they don't listen.
And can I say, I really like the fact that some people I know complain about when you have like multiple characters in a family talking, and they're talking over each other and they're rapid fire arguing.
Have you not had kids?
I was going to say, I loved it because that all those sequences felt like people at home.
Yes, there was this whole conversation at the dinner table and something dramatic's happening. And the kid's like, oh my gosh, we got to go. And the girl's like, and the guy's like, pass me the potato. And it's all happening at once.
And but nobody's listening to anybody else.
And that's what it's like when you have teenagers. I mean, it happens.
And each kid is kind of quirky. There's like the young one who's kind of like, I don't know what's going on. You have the one that's obsessed with survival and all this other stuff. You have the girl who just wants to be left alone, and it's very normal family with weird people.
Yeah.
You
And then
know,
suddenly, supposedly, we don't really know, there's some toxin in the air. And, could you be exposed? Were you not exposed? Were you? How long were you outside? It becomes this whole weird thing. And, at some point, there was a funny part where it becomes that whole thing like, were you exposed to COVID? Well, you're going to get sick and you're going to be sick for whatever.
I think
And
there
there's
was
this
an element
one, yeah,
of
there was this one thing where, how long were you? Oh, well, that means you're going to die. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, maybe about 15, 20 years you're going to die. He's like, what? He would have died maybe that in 15, 20 years anyway.
Yeah.
But they're like, yeah, you were
There's
exposed.
a lot of little
So
elements like that are
crazy.
parallel to the real world and the panic. And is it real? Is it not real?
Correct.
And what's interesting is when we shift into that, I'm like, okay, we're now on our way for the kind of action adventure survival type film.
And then
it happens, and all that is going on,
and
complete with some car chase stuff and a little bit of fighting and stuff. And then all of a sudden, it's like
there's another story.
It turns into this whole drama about drug use and marital problems and infidelity, and I'm like, what in the hell is happening?
And that's why our child called us, and she's like, "What the heck is this
But
movie
it all
about?"
intertwines
It
perfectly.
all comes together at the end,
and
actually.
It's a bigger metaphor about the obsessions with death and relationships and the importance of feeling and the importance of thinking.
And I think too, in that idea, like, am I doing anything with my life? Did I actually accomplish anything? Is our family accomplish anything? Are we good parents? Are our kids? I mean, it kind of goes through all of this in there. It is weird, guys.
It's weird.
It's
and
very
I
weird.
Loved every minute of it. It is already added onto my top of the year.
And it's hard for me.
It may not stay there, but right now it is on my list.
It's kind of hard for me to distinguish to what kind of time period we're in, what frame we're in. Is it like 90s-ish?
It felt very 80s, like late 80s. But yeah,
I don't know. Clothing and his hair, but I don't even know. And I don't know if it matters.
It's so weird.
It's weird, man.
But so, like I said, you have to stick with it.
That could be the thing. It might be too weird for you.
Yeah, that was the irony of my daughter calling about it, because you said while we were watching it, this is a great movie, but I don't know if people are going to stay with it.
Yeah.
And then my daughter calls. We're like 20 minutes in, and I don't know what's going on.
She's like, I don't know if I'm going to watch this.
And I'm like, stay with it. I got to get with her after this.
And see what she thought.
But I'm going to text her.
Text her right now. Yeah, it's out there. But you know what? I think that's kind of cool. I like that it's dealing with real life stuff, but maybe in an exaggerated kind of bizarre way to grab our attention, because that was my problem with this other movie, is it was too real that in a way it became like, well, this is dumb. That's boring to me.
See, and I actually liked it because it was real.
Yeah. And I don't know.
You do have a tendency, though, to not like movies that
are just
really real life. You find them boring because
I do.
You're the kind of ones to have the escape from real life.
I do, exactly.
Even though you have a great life.
I do. I have you.
I asked her if she finished it. She goes, "Yes, it was good."
See, to our average movie person, she's more average movie person than she doesn't get all intellectual and dissect films like we do. She's just like, it was good.
But she also has a range of, she loves SpongeBob, Tinkerbell, and Saw.
She's all over the place.
Makes no sense.
Love that kid. All right, so check out the movie White Noise. Where can I watch this?
It's on Netflix.
Okay, there you go.
It's a great movie, man. I'm telling you, just stick with it and enjoy it. Adam Driver is outstanding.
He is good. He's always good.
You'll next see Greta Gerwig directing the Barbie movie.
I'm a Barbie girl.
Which is a movie that I was like, I have no interest in. I saw the teaser and I'm like,
pretty cool.
I am now insanely curious. It could be an epic train wreck, but we'll see.
All right, next movie.
All right, next one is the big movie of the week. It's big theatrical release. That's apparently gave, I think it was number 2, but it did give Avatar a run for its money. Is the movie M3GAN.
This movie.
Which is one that we've been seeing a lot of trailers for from longest.
I did the dance. That was me doing the dance sequence. Kids, you can get it.
But it's written by James Wan.
Yeah.
Or co-written. He wrote by somebody else. Who is the guy that made Insidious and Saw and whatever. Tell us what this movie's about.
So this movie is about M3GAN, who you see on your screen. And it's basically an android, but made to be a toy and best friend for your children. And the idea that they'll have someone to play with and stuff to give you more time to do your adult things. The interesting thing, and I appreciate that it came up in the film, the lady's like, what if we sell it like that What do parents do?
Well, and that's kind of an interesting metaphor twist on dealing with internet and
Screen time,
phone,
screen
yeah,
time.
screen time
It's
stuff.
like, what are parents doing
And
if
they
you're just
deal
like,
with
here,
that
take
too.
a
With
phone?
like the girl at one point, she's like, "Well, just use my pad." And she's like, "Well, what about screen time?" She's like, "What is that?"
Yeah. So
Because the other
yeah,
one
because
took,
if you
and
see in the trailer, sorry, the little girl, her parents died in an accident. She goes to live with her aunt. So her aunt's like, here, just play
see, and
with
I
the
didn't even
iPad.
get that in the trailer.
It was in the trailer.
No, but I didn't get that in the trailer. I guess I didn't pay that much attention. I knew someone died, but I thought that they either had lost a kid or that I thought that was her mom in the trailer.
Oh no, it's her
I don't
aunt.
know why I thought that.
Yeah, because you
But
see her talking about, are you okay to take custody and blah blah blah.
yeah, I don't think I paid
It's
that
in the
much attention. I think the
trailer.
trailer started blending in my brain.
I know. We
And
saw
I
it
will
too
say
many
this:
times.
I know I had a concern, and if you're one of those that's seen the trailer, that maybe it's showing too much, and it actually isn't. I was pretty impressed that it's, yes, you're seeing a lot of the cool moments, but there's a lot to it that you need context to really make those scenes make sense.
Correct.
And put in the order that they need to be in.
Correct. And I was saying, hey, this is Skynet all over again. And in a way it is, but in a way it's even scarier because it's presented in a cute little girl package.
And can I give them big props because majority, if not all, the movie is practical effects.
Correct. There is a child in this costume wearing a prosthetic, that
rubber mask,
the rubberized D mask
and rubber gloves. You can see in one of the behind the scenes. I don't know if you noticed that when they're showing her crawl around on the ground, you can see where their sleeve comes up, and you can see the rubber glove.
Oh shoot!
It's not in the movie, but in the behind the scenes thing, that clip thing you told me about.
One, yeah, where they
you can see where it separates. Shoot. So you can tell, okay, that is a person.
Yeah, there's a little person.
You don't see it in the movie that way, but.
And I'm assuming, like you were saying, there had to have been like a stunt girl and a regular girl and like the dance girl, and I don't know.
I assume.
Who knows? This movie gets a little bit creepy and a little bit too real because it does deal with our modern technology and our reliance on technology. Like the lady comes home and immediately her Alexa or whatever it's called, it's like, you have 5 messages and 3 hits on Tinder or whatever it is, and it's like,
and she's like, cancel.
But I mean, everything, she runs everything in her life on that thing or her calendar or whatever. So obviously it's easy for the little Android M3GAN girl to kind of take over her life.
Well, that's one of those things you always have to be concerned with too, because there's a moment where M3GAN drives a car, but it's because the entire car is computered,
electronic
so
car.
she can easily attach to it. And when your building's computer, your lights are attached to it, or your computers, your cell phones, that puts in that mentality of, we know we're being watched, we know we're being tracked, but if something decides to go up and it's connected to those things,
Skynet is real.
I will say this: the movie is not scary.
No,
not at
all.
I think it was heading into. It's terrifying because of the realism, but not scary like a jump scare.
Not at all.
It actually comes off more to me like a action thriller.
Agree.
It had some creepy moments, and I wasn't sure if the visuals of M3GAN was going to work.
Well, and to some people, that is terrifying. Like to me, she's creepy.
She is.
I'm scared of dolls.
Yeah, but I was concerned seeing her moving around from the trailers and everything else. Was it going to be something I could buy into?
Yeah.
And you almost buy into it.
It looks really good.
You look into her eyes, and they're dead, but there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a spark of life in those dead eyes, and the way she moves, and little things like her hair getting jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
Or the makeup paint, whatever, getting messed up. Or something being torn or whatever.
Oh, here's the little girl that was M3GAN and did the stunts, and then there's another woman that did the M3GAN voice.
Right.
So it's interesting.
And she was posting something on TikTok about, that's me, the voice.
That's cute.
I really dug this movie.
It was really fun. And it was, like you said, it's not scary at all.
Yeah.
It's just kind of creepy because it's something that could actually happen. You remember, I don't know if you remember, there was that Android they made, and they actually turned it off because it became too self-aware, kind of like this. And that happens in this movie. They're like, M3GAN shut down, and she's like, we're in the middle of a conversation. And that's the creepy part to me.
You know what? I compared this in my review, what I compared this movie to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever remember seeing the movie The Good Son.
Yes.
With Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood. Almost said Elijah Wood. About the kid that's supposedly good, but he's actually crazy.
Yes.
This movie reminded me of a matchup between The Good Son, Child's Play, and The Terminator.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's really good.
That's kind of, it's all those movies put in to one movie that's its own thing. It's
Yeah.
still, it feels like those movies, but it feels like something completely unique.
Yeah.
And there is something scary when they start using things in the world that you're constantly like, we're sitting here right now with cell phones and laptops. There's a video game here. There's a camera here.
Yeah.
All these things would be immediately taken over and
By-
we'd be wiped out.
by M3GAN.
Yes.
Yeah. And they're robots, so they have infinite strength.
And what's even crazier about it is we would still get one because it would be awesome.
I wouldn't.
I would, because I'd be like,
I can't deal with the doll face. Like when I was little, my mom or somebody got me a doll, and it's one of those where you lie down and its eyes closed, and, its eyes open when you set it up.
Is that all your dolls?
No.
Dolls?
So that I never, after that, that was the one and only. I'm like, nope, it freaked me out too much. That's why I always have stuffed animals, not dolls, because I don't deal with that. Barbie, okay, but this, no way.
It'll be interesting if they try to build a franchise on this, because no matter how a movie like this will end, being technology's
there's
out there. Always a way. I'm not saying they did anything or anything else to the end of this movie, but there's always a way when the technology's involved to bring things back and do something
different. That's that movie right there. Terminator.
That's why there's
multiple
3, 4, 5, 6 Terminator films.
Correct. So M3GAN,
but I enjoyed it. It is, like I said, it's not a horror film so much, but it is creepy.
Action, drama.
There is action. It's kind of funny at one point, but not in. You kind of uncomfortably laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Like you laugh at things, and you're like,
I totally laugh. Oh, and my favorite thing ever happens in this movie.
Somebody getting run over.
So that did, yeah, and I totally laughed. There were moments I was laughing. I think a couple other people in our row were chuckling, so that made me feel not as psycho.
She is,
because sometimes I laugh at uncomfortable things or bad things that happen in horror movies. I'm like, ah!
It's because she's a nutbag.
While I'm eating my popcorn, that was some good popcorn too. Anyways, had a good theater.
Now, I didn't get to see a lot of it, but I'd like to ask. We've now become straight Alamo Drafthouse people. Did they have any fun things? Because I know you were sharing with your friends all the pre-show.
Yes. Stuff. Oh, they had so many like clips from old movies. They had, hold on, regular Devil Doll, not the other one that we've seen.
Not Black Devil Doll.
And no, Devil Doll, Dolly Dearest instead of Mommy Dearest. I've never heard of that one, but I want to see it. Let me see. I made a little list here. Killer Dolls.
I know that one.
Yeah, that was it. Just all. They had the one with the ventriloquist, the one that you showed
Magic?
me. Yes. And then
Anthony Hopkins?
Yes. And then the one that the guy was talking to us during the turn off your phones, that ventriloquist doll.
Oh, that was from Goosebumps.
Goosebumps. I mean, so they had little clips from all different doll movies of evil dolls. It was a lot of fun. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Alamo, for putting that together. All right, over to you, my liege.
All right. Hold on, I'm gonna pull this because I want to tell you about this movie when I get to it.
Okay.
All right, so we're talking about movies coming out. It's kind of a small week still. It's a lot of re-release stuff. Groundhog Day 30th anniversary still, but 4K is coming out. Ouija, getting a 4K release. Fear the Walking Dead, the complete 7th season is coming out. There's a new movie called Piggy coming out, which is the one I wanted to tell you about because I actually want to see it. I asked for a copy, but I find it interesting. It seems interesting to me, but it says, here's a synopsis. It says, in a rural town, a teenage girl's weight makes her the target of an incessant bullying from a clique of mean girls. So it's about a little fat girl.
Oh, poor thing.
After fleeing them at the town pool, she stumbles upon her tormentors being kidnapped by a mysterious stranger. Oh, that's not a good one. So basically, she finds the people that are picking on her are now being kidnapped that have nothing to do with her.
Haven't we seen this movie?
No, we have not.
I've seen this.
You haven't seen the movie.
Oh, we saw the trailer. We saw the trailer. I want to see this. Yes, I remember this trailer.
Give the better part of it. There he goes. It says, someone had finally stood up for her. Sarah sees it all: the blood, the mud, the knife, the van, which it takes him, and the unknown man sees her. Wordless pact that neither will betray. She's now an accomplice.
This is an awesome. So, just the trailer got me.
It's basically kind of like they're getting their comeuppance, but then how much does she need to be connected, and how much, and what if anybody knows that she knows? And it's very interesting direction it could go.
I'd be like, you shouldn't have been mean to me. Bye.
The imagery of the poster caught me the first time I ever saw it, which was just a lady big woman covered in blood, just standing in the street. Anyways, that's pretty much what's happening.
Okay. Well, coming out at the theater or on the line. I watched On the Line this week and it made me laugh so much.
Good.
Okay. Coming out on Tuesday on Video Demand and Digital, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Beep. It's based on the global best-selling self-help phenomenon of the same name. And so it's a documentary following the author Mark Mason as he cuts through the crap and offers you a way to just get past the beep in your life. Okay. On Netflix, The Hatchet-Wielding Hitchhiker. It's a documentary, the true story of Kai McGilvery.
Oh, yeah.
Who was a nomad after saving a woman from a violent attack, became a celebrity, and he's like, woohoo, I'm a nomad wandering the world, leave me alone. So, also coming to Video Demand and Digital, a movie called The Exiles. It's a documentary about a cinematographer, a professor, and a teacher, and their influence on the arts. There you go. Coming out on Wednesday to Netflix, a movie called Noise. I want to see this. It looks weird, but I love it. It's this lady searching for her daughter, and through her search, she finds all these different women and the stories of widespread violence against women in this country. So, interesting. Coming out on Thursday, a Fathom event, Shin Ultraman. If you want to go watch it, I don't know if we can see that. Coming out on Friday, finally, the new movie with Tom Hanks, A Man Called Otto. Grumpy Tom Hanks. I'm looking forward to you.
I've been here. One of my buddies watched it already, and he says you need to bring your tissues.
Oh, goodness. Coming also to theaters. I hadn't seen anything on this. The Devil Conspiracy.
It's one of those limited. It's limited release from a standpoint of it won't get in a lot of theaters.
It's a biotech company dealing with DNA and cloning influential people.
You were about to say this bio company dealing with Dionne Warwick.
They're going to bring Dionne Warwick back.
Is she dead?
Is she not? Oh my gosh.
I
apologize if she's not. I don't know.
Are you looking it up?
Is Dionne Warwick dead? Yeah. Nope, she's still alive. I apologize. She's going to get me with her psychic network.
I do have something fun to tell you about Dionne Warwick in a minute. Go ahead.
Okay. In theaters, a movie called Plane with Gerard Butler.
I can't wait for this with him, Mike Coulter.
Yeah, he successfully lands a plane, but in a war zone. We got to see what happens. We're going to see what happens with that.
Oh my God. I got to watch this, but I don't know if I should.
This one?
Yeah.
Movie coming to theaters, House Party.
It's a remake of House Party.
Yeah.
House Party originally starred Martin Lawrence, Kid and Play. It's a hip hop cult classic. And they're remaking it.
And they do the Kid and Play.
They do the Kid and Play. They made like 4 or 5 House Party movies, but
this is a new one.
This is a remake, and I don't understand why it exists.
Who knows? This we have to find on Video Demand and Digital the old way. It is a gunslinger movie with Nicolas Cage.
And I believe it's Nicolas Cage's first Western.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've seen the trailer for it. It looks good.
Okay, let's see if anything. Also coming to Netflix on Friday, Doggone. A father and son trying to repair their fractured relationship and find their beloved dog. Hulu movie this week, The Drop. Happily married couple in Los Angeles about to start a family. They decide they're going to a tropical resort, a wedding destination, and craziness ensues.
Seems like a good plan.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen to us. We're going to a tropical getaway this summer. What if craziness ensues? Loudmouth on Video Demand and Digital, a documentary about it says opportunist or activist. A documentary about Reverend Al Sharpton. It's going to be.
I didn't even have to see it to know who it was going to be about.
It's going to be very interesting.
When you said activist or loudmouth.
Mm-hmm. The Seven Faces of Jane on Video Demand and Digital, starring Jillian Jacobs. Jane drops off her daughter at a sleepaway camp.
Jillian Jacobs?
Yeah.
Oh, I like her.
Jane, she drops her daughter at a sleepaway camp, drives away, and craziness ensues. But that's going to happen if you're at a camp. Now let's see what else. I'm just trying to hit the highlights here, and that's about it coming out this week. It's a lot of good things to see out there.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll have time to see Plane and A Man Called Otto.
For sure.
Because I had to miss the screenings.
Well, I want to see that Nicolas Cage Western.
Well, no, but that's not a theater thing. I'm
I
talking
know,
about the
but
theaters.
maybe we can.
I really want to see Plane. I want to see Auto too, but it's Tom Hanks. But
Did we miss that this week?
I had to miss both screenings.
Oh shoot. Okay.
So we jumping into the giveaways.
Let
All
me
right.
put them up on the
So the
screen.
giveaways, we have digital copies of The Menu. If you haven't checked it out, it's one of my favorite movies last year.
Me too.
Also, The Grandmaster of Kung Fu. I'll be talking about next week.
Judy Chop.
Judy Chop. I watched it today. So I have some copies of Don't Worry, Darling and Black Adam. This may be the only chance you get to see of The Rock as Black Adam, the way DC is now running.
Oh goodness.
And then, of course, we still have a couple copies left of Nope and Alienoid. So get over their website, fill it out, send in your notices. Do not message me on the contest. Do not message me on Twitter. Send an email to me, or I will not enter you into the contest. The end.
Wow. All right then.
Well, I'm getting tired of people commenting and then ask me why they didn't win. I had one guy who commented on 310, and then he sends me an email. Did I win anything? I'm like, this is the only email I've received from you, asking if you won anything, but with no entry. And he come back, he goes, well, I commented on everything. I did exactly what I said. I'm like, what you said? I said, no, you didn't read it. I said, but tell me what you'd be interested in winning, and I'll see what I can do for you. Being nice. Never responded.
Lord have mercy.
And I got in a fight with a guy on YouTube about our Star Cruiser conversation.
Yeah, because okay. Side note, how do I win the movies? Go to the website, HollywoodMatrimony.com.
I know someone's getting punched in the face in class tomorrow.
So we went to the Star Cruiser. We did a review about it. Go check out our YouTube page. You can find the video there. And then you found this video of this guy posting like nothing but lies.
Yeah, there's tons of videos out there
lies.
that are just bashing it and whatever. And so I happened to come across this one because the title of it was "The Star Cruiser is Failing," and there has been some legitimate reports of concerns about not booking as many reservations as it once did, and all that stuff. So I was looking to see if it was new news because we just did it and we had a blast. And right out the gate, it was all, oh, they make you do this and they force you to do this, and
you're not allowed to pick your own story. You can't take pictures. You can't video.
You can't do this. Everything, with the exception of the price, was a lie. So I simply commented, say everything on this video is a lie. I just got back from there, and the guy commented back of, well, you just got back 3 days ago. Maybe they changed everything, and you know you're just up whatever, blah blah blah. And I can't believe you paid for this. And I said it was a blast, and I paid for it again. You know, like I was never intended to fight with them. I just wanted people to watch the video. But there are a lot of people. I'm fine with people hating the Disney Star Wars stuff. I don't care about that. I'm fine with people hating the Star Cruiser. I'm fine with people hating Star Wars. I'm not that connected that I care. But I hate when people spread lies, especially when people are not going to do. Oh, is this one of the closing? Wait, when is this article posted?
October. But then it's listed on the site, fake Disney news.
Yeah, it says it's closing permanently.
Yeah, fake.
So my issue is, and the problem is, there's people that are against it or that can't afford it or whatever the case is, and they buy into it and believe it.
Yeah.
So then they tell someone else. It's just like,
it is expensive.
It is.
But if you can get 6 people to go with you, it's cheaper because you can get 6 people.
Well, forget 6 people. If you can just
2,
save
3,
money,
4,
or
5, 6
or you
people
set up and
together,
make payments like a normal human being, you know, or hey, maybe not buy Starbucks every day or smoke or drink or do something else.
Well, now you're pushing it.
And save some money once in a while. Maybe you can do other things. But you know what? There's some things that not everybody can afford. I can't afford a Lamborghini. That doesn't mean they shouldn't stop making Lamborghinis. Matter of fact, they should give me one for mentioning Lamborghini. But there are some things in life that are not going to be for everybody else. And it's okay.
Don't be a hater.
Just because Star Wars is for the masses doesn't mean everything is for you.
Correct.
You know, we actually, I was talking to some people earlier that had asked me about this trip I took. And we got talking about Star Wars, and he was talking about how he's closer to my age and how he was a fan of the original movies. Can't believe it's still going on.
Yeah.
And he goes, but his kids were born in 99. And I'm like, yeah, my kids love the prequels and hated the originals. Yeah. Because the prequels are their generation of Star Wars. The new ones that are out now, there's a high chance that the kids that grew up with those, that's their Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know, but you know what? It's okay to love or hate any of it.
Yeah.
There was a guy at Star Cruiser dressed in a Star Trek outfit.
Yes.
I don't care.
It was funny.
It is.
Just like if that's what you want to do.
But stop trying to bash crap for everybody else.
He said that his shit broke down, so he had to get on this one.
Yeah, stop bashing crap for everybody else. If you don't like it, if you can't afford it, then great. That's sad. That's horrible. Be angry. Don't go and move on.
Yeah. Oh, well.
You know, people are bitching about Disney too, about the price raising of stuff and ticket costs. And so, what is it? Somebody posted how some lady went into bankruptcy, or she went into debt because she took her family afforded Disney.
Well, that's just done.
But she also got S passes for everybody. They went to like the fancy restaurants. That's $60, $70 a person.
We've done that before.
No, I know, but I'm saying she's complaining about how much it costs, but she paid for all those things.
So you did.
She could have cut $400 out by not getting those fast pass things, VIP things, and not going to the fancier restaurants, and you can still have a great time. So stop being stupid.
But there's no reason to go in debt. You do the payment plan. I don't understand.
I'm telling you, we've talked about this before. There's a mentality of instant gratification.
I know. We're planning to take a family of 7. Oh Lord,
people cannot.
But you start planning a year and a half out, and you start making your payments.
People don't want to wait a year and a half. They're like, I want to go this summer.
Oh, I do too. Believe me.
But you know what? Sometimes you can't.
I mean, we could rack up credit card debt, but that's dumb.
And I have a friend that does that. He lives on credit cards. He pays one credit card with another credit card.
Oh my gosh, that's
scary. His life. That's his business. It works.
I'd rather do what we do. We pay cash. We make payments, and you pay in cash, and then you get there, and like everything's paid for.
We spend a year paying for the trips. We spend a year saving up the spending money, and the spending money we save up in a year is the money we have to spend. So if you go with $100, that's what you get.
Yeah.
If you go with $5,000, that's what you get.
And then you can afford to eat in a restaurant every night. We did that this last time we went. I was like, let's eat at a nice restaurant every day. It was expensive, and it really wasn't worth it. I think she wants to go outside. So this last time we went, we did like fast service pizza, burgers, whatever. And we had one night where we had a fancy meal, and that was perfect.
And we could have still afforded to go to the other stuff. But we were like, we've done it. We just wanted to experience it once.
Anyway.
But the thing is when you're saving the money throughout that year, you have to make that decision. Do I go to Taco Bell today, or do I save that money?
Taco Bell.
Do I go out and to a fancy dinner? Do I save that money? You know, and
let's go to a fancy dinner.
Whatever. I take for every $20 I get, even we're not even planning a big trip right now. I mean, we are, but we're not. If I get $20 today, I'm saving 10 of that money.
He always does. You're very good about that.
I put it in a cup and I have it. But you know what? Throughout the year, life happens. So there was one point where I had $300 saved up, and then we hit a little bit of a rough patch. $300 got spent on gas.
We made it back.
Life stuff. Yeah. So you watch it come in. You watch the point is paying attention. Say, look, I want to spend this amount of money.
We should start one of those Disney booking agencies.
Oh, those travel.
Which, by the way, I can't believe anybody would do that.
People do it all
I figure it out. I'm like, I'm planning the trip for 7 people. For 6 and a kid, and I've already got my spreadsheet going. I don't think you need to pay that, because you have to pay a fee for that. That's why we should start our own and charge people money. I know a lot of people that do it. To go back to Disney.
Anyway.
Okay, we love you.
Oh, well, I was going to really quick tell you before we sign off about
Dionne Warwick.
Dionne Warwick. I legitimately came across this random article the other day about Dionne Warwick.
Oh.
And it was Dionne Warwick, who once had a meetup with Tupac and Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
And apparently,
did she read them?
No, not that part of Dionne Warwick. This was Dionne Warwick calling them out about calling women bitches and hoes, and got mad about it. And so instead of talking trash to them, she had them come to her house.
To
discuss it.
Here it is.
And Snoop Dogg's, obviously Tupac can't talk about it, but Snoop Dogg basically said that she put us in our place. She's like, she came over there, and he goes, it was the most gangsta thing he's ever seen, because he goes, they sat there and listened to her like children.
Yeah.
And she was very respectful. She talked to him. She goes, I'm not against your music. I'm not against what you stand for. I'm not against you. Or I would have never let you in my house. Oh, you found it?
This quote from Snoop. We were scared, says Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, it says,
we confronted.
It said that she basically said, you know, the stuff you're saying, think about it when you have daughters. Mm-hmm. You don't want somebody saying this about your daughters. And that misogynistic mentality that she confronted him. it's very funny to listen
That's
to Snoop Dogg. It's
hilarious.
like she was straight up gangsta, and we listened. He said it changed the trajectory of his music.
Mm.
If you listen to Snoop Dogg's music now, yes, he still says stuff and he still talks about some stuff. But early Snoop Dogg was all about bitches and hoes and gangsta life and drinking and partying. You listen to a lot of his stuff now. That stuff is still there,
But it's
but it's a
more
lot
like
of partying and
hey,
vibes and
love.
so clearly there was
Fun.
an impact by Dionne Warwick in the world of Snoop Dogg.
Thank you, Dionne Warwick.
So,
I was gonna be like, the Spirit Network says this.
Yeah.
She's reading them.
Maybe she could talk. Maybe she still talks to Tupac.
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? You can
All
call.
right.
Does she still have her psychic helpline?
I don't think she does anything. She's like 840.
That's because of the psychic helpline.
That's right. Anyway, moving on.
All right. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Check out our website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. Go find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Hive. That's it.
Yes, we'll be back next week with an all-new episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. And be on the lookout for more of the Hollywood Matrimony shorts on our YouTube channel. Peace out.
We'll see you next week.